Nepal becomes first country in Asia-Pacific to vaccinate refugees against COVID-19.
Here's a summary of the article.
On 19 March, she was among the first refugees to receive a COVID-19 vaccine at a settlement in Beldangi, in eastern Nepal. Nepal is the first country in the Asia-Pacific region to provide COVID-19 jabs to refugees through its national vaccination rollout. Local authorities, refugee leaders and security officials set up a temporary vaccination center at the refugee settlement, and as of 24 March, some 668 refugees above the age of 65 had received vaccinations against the virus across the country. Nepal hosts nearly 20,000 refugees, mostly Tibetans and Bhutanese, with arrival dates in 1959 and in the early 1990s respectively. Since the onset of the pandemic, UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, has been working closely with other UN agencies and government authorities to advocate for the inclusion of refugees in COVID-19 preparedness and response plans. The government of Nepal has shown exemplary leadership for public health responses by including refugees in the national vaccination plans and rollout, said Carolyn Spanath-Verma, UNHCR's representative in Nepal. The risk of COVID-19 is the same for all. It doesn't matter if you are a refugee or not, said Shravan Kumar Tamilsena, the chief district officer of Jharpa, in eastern Nepal, where the country's 2 refugee settlements are located.
This post received a score of 3,400, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This fight is against the diseases, not with human.
Together, ape strong.
This article was originally published 2 months ago and may contain out-of-date information. The original publication date was March 6, 2021. As per World News, wiki submissions should be to articles published within the last week. This bot finds outdated articles. It's impossible to be 100% accurate on every site, and with differences in time zones and date formats this may be a little off. Send me a message if you notice an error or would like this bot added to your subreddit. Send feedback. GitHub bot GitHub Chrome extension.
Faith in humanity.
They wouldn't be refugees in the first place if Bhutan didn't try to make itself the happiest place in the world by committing ethnic cleansing on the ethnic Nepalese who've been there for 100 years or more.
While the situation is pretty awful and the hypocrisy of Bhutan's actions with respect to the image they project to the world is remarkable, I do feel like calling the situation an ethnic cleansing is too strong. Ethnic cleansing just seems too strong a word to be used here, and doesn't do justice to the problem. What we did to the Native Americans was ethnic cleansing. What's happening in Myanmar is ethnic cleansing. I guess they had to say Asia Pacific since Israel opened up vaccinations to asylum seekers months ago.
Meanwhile, here in Japan, an ostensibly developed country, not even all doctors and nurses are vaccinated. SMH.
Makes sense. People need to remember that diseases don't give a fuck about ethnicity. Science doesn't give a fuck about your politics. It just is.
What about Israel?
How many refugees go to a place that hard to access? Serious question. It just looks like a bunch of people from Tibet and Bhutan that probably should have already got citizenship already. At the very least it's an established community instead of a flood of new people.
It's mostly Nepalese refugees who were deported from South Bhutan, who are now stuck in refugee camps because no one Bhutan, Nepal, India wants to take them in. Most Tibetan refugees were given asylum by Indian in the 50s and 60s, so it's not really Tibetans. It's definitely not Syrian or Honduran refugees moving to camps in Nepal.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.